Agentic commerce is an important part of the future of commerce. It's not everything, but it is one of the most important things that are happening. But I also think that you need to invest, you need to think about this. This is coming whether you like it or not. This summer I was convinced that Agentic Commerce is the future. And it was actually my parents who convinced me, because they are absolute crap when it comes to computers. But I showed them ChatGPT 2 years ago, something like that. And then they're using that, and I knew that. But this summer they came back to me and said, look, we bought GPT Plus because we kept on running out of tokens. And I was like, what the hell? Or why are you running out of tokens? Because we use it for everything. Like they use it for, my mom uses it for cooking, and dad uses it for his stamp collection and all sorts of things. And then I was on my way to Helsinki to do a talk there. And my dad drove me, and he said, so what are you doing in Helsinki? And I said, I'm doing a talk on Agentic Commerce. And he was like, yeah, I don't understand what that is. But I used AI last night. I used it to find some latches or locks for some cabinets in my sailboat because they were broken. And that is like a really niche product. These locks are like, that is not something you just buy in a store. And he located the factory in Lithuania or whatever it was. And I said, what would have happened if you had a buy button when you found that product? And he said, I would have clicked it, then the product would have been on its way. And that's when I said that is Agentic Commerce. That is where we're going. There are product feeds. So your PIM, for example, could support that product feed as an output channel and then put that into the LLM so that all your products are in a format that the AI will understand. Whether the AI chooses to use that information or not, that will be interesting to see. But or how that is done, or how it's prioritized, that it's still up in the air. But that is the way we're going. Same thing with all the other LLMs also. So the rules still apply, like rules of SEO and stuff like that. So if you get your basics right with SEO, you're automatically agentic ready-ish. But then you have also the product feeds that are out there now. So OpenAI, for example, they have their own product feed that you have to support. It's only supported for US merchants so far, but something is happening there next year, so that probably will be open for everyone. Google already have their Google Shopping feed. Being compliant with those feeds will be important. And then there is the story of Silicon Valley, that any big company will turn into a commercially driven company. So there is no doubt in my mind that you can buy your way into, like you do on Google, first place ad when people search for something. That will also happen with GPTs. That is a question we should talk more about, because the agent becomes the customer. So that means that the requirements that you set for the agent is now the new bar for what makes the agent buy something, because you will give the agent a couple of requirements for what you buy, and then the agent will go out there and figure that out. Probably not be very influenced by normal commercials. Influencers doesn't care about that. It cares about very basic things. Brand itself is changing from a name to something that has proven its story, something that is reliable, something that gets good reviews every time, something that has predictable pricing. The crap we've seen with Black Friday, where all companies turn up the price in October, and then come November, we're dropping the prices again. An agent will see straight through that, right? What I like doing is asking AI about how this will affect you, right? So that is a good place to start. If you do like a deep research. So sometimes I just use AI to make a prompt. First thing I do is that I make a prompt about what I want to do, and then the AI generates the prompt. I paste that back into the AI and I click on the deep research mode, and then it will go on for half an hour and then create a report for you. And that is like usually really, really good. So if you're wondering how this will affect you, where this is going, what's happening, blah, 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 use AI to tell you. It just depends on your company. If you have 1,000 products that are fairly straightforward, sure. I would even create my own PIM using AI. I did that earlier this year. That would be super cool. That would work well for a simple use case. But the thing is that there is more to it. If you're an international brand, there is so much complexity to the data and the scale. So then you definitely need a PIM. By using Bluestone PIM, your products will be automatically ready for Agentic Commerce. That is our goal. So that is what we're working on. Like we are working on the different product feeds, making your products available in the different channels, making the PIM one source of truth that you can rely on. The whole GPP story now with a trusted product information. And I think that is really important, so that you don't end up with like the Temu problem, where you don't really know what you're buying. One thing that companies can do and start thinking about is to have ownership to their own models. So this agnostic AI approach seems really strong, where you have control over your own data, your own model, and you utilize that in the tools instead of the other way around, where you introduce a lot of tools. So all your software will now come with some sort of AI feature, that is out of your control. So instead, taking control of your model yourself is a smart thing to do. And Bluestone PIM is perfect for that, because you can use your own LLMs within Bluestone PIM. That's an important thing to think about. I'll give you an example of that. Is that earlier this year I was in London doing a talk, and we had this discussion in the audience. And one of the guys said, "Look, I've tried to make an MCP server on top of my APIs, but it doesn't really work." And I said, "What do you mean it doesn't work?" It didn't have all the endpoints for it to work. And I was like, "So you're not fully composable then? You're not API first, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, I guess I'm not. I don't have all the endpoints." And that just proves the story that if you don't have a proper API first approach, then you will be limited. Composable architecture makes it easier to be agentic also. So OpenAI launched their product feed format, right? Google has had their Google shopping feed for many, many, many years. Like they have all the bits and pieces needed for this. It's already in place. They already have everything you sort of need for Agentic Commerce in place already. While OpenAI, they have to develop this whole story. They've done some initiatives with Shopify and others. But I mean, Google, they have all the building pieces in-house. Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat.